Welcome to the Marvels, Mysteries and Midlanders podcast. Prepare to take a dive into all things mythical, eerie and downright strange. Stick around. You might just enjoy yourself. So, how are you both doing? How are things? What's happening? Excuse me.
Well, I got called beautiful by a stranger in Spanish today, so I'm doing great. He was hella old.
Nice. What's beautiful in Spanish? Fuego. No, fuego's fire, isn't it? Oh, fuego.
I would take that
fuego.
too. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good... I mean, he said it to me, and I asked my friend who speaks Spanish. I was like, what did he say?
I'm going to have to search this up right away because, it's very important. It's going to bother me for the entire episode otherwise. So I'm doing it now. Lewis.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. Busy boy? Any more holidays planned? Hey?
Not yet, but they're all going to be last minute, I think.
Ah, very nice. Leaving me again, I see. Brilliant.
And how are
Very
you,
good.
James?
I am knackered. I'm just tired.
You're soul level tired.
I'm still really annoyed about that episode getting broken. It's really bothering me. I don't know why. I'm over it. But I'm okay. Yeah, I've just been working and other career working, and Elden Ring's out now, so I've been playing that. Basically, and also, guess what? Ukraine's been invaded.
Oh yeah,
which
that
is
happened.
fun.
Yeah.
Massive.
All the fun things.
Yeah, all the love to Ukraine and the bravery there. Jesus Christ, what a nightmare to be living through.
100%.
I think we had a couple of downloads from Ukraine, so if we have got any Ukrainian listeners, just on the off chance we do, thank you so much, and please be safe. But also, welcome to Marvel's Mysteries and Midlanders. I am James, joined by Lewis Carter, and replacement host, again, Carly.
Hi.
Hello. But it's good, man. I tell you, this has been the longest February. Consider it's the shortest month. It's just not ending. I mean, it is in 2 days, but
it really is dragging on.
It's not ending.
Yeah.
It may be March by the time this comes out, but I don't care about timelines right now. I just don't care. But yeah, so any news? Any news at all?
No news from me.
Not really.
How?
That was my news. I got called beautiful. That was my news.
Did he say, "Oh, hermosa"?
No, it was a different word. It started with it started with a B.
Oh, well, apparently beautiful, according to Google Translate, is hermosa. Unless he said hermoso, which is the masculine term for beautiful, which I wouldn't.
I am very masculine, so.
Oh, you got the body of a man, so hermoso.
Super masculine. Yeah, that's me.
Super, that's good. Good. Yeah. I'm glad you either compliment's a compliment, isn't it?
A compliment is a compliment, and I had delicious fish tacos and a mojito, so I'm winning today, basically.
Fish tacos.
Fish tacos and a mojito.
No. Fish taco.
In the sunshine.
Me and Lewis.
You guys are all frozen, and it's
me and Lewis.
Here.
Me and Lewis are just grimacing at the thought of fish tacos. Like,
I've never had one, so I can't.
Yeah, I know, but it just sounds wrong, listeners.
No, you're both wrong. Come to Florida. I will teach you these things.
This is why we bring Kai on the show, for a taste of culture. For the female perspective, but also the American perspective.
The American. With their filthy fish tacos.
Oh, just no. Fish tacos and your poo water.
Grilled mahi. Yeah. It was super good.
What's a mahi?
It's a kind of fish. It's like a tropical fish. It tastes nice.
It's either trout or nothing around here, mate. It's trout out the canal or it's canal trout or nothing else, mate. Yeah. in cold, dark England, we're all just miserable. So yeah. Good luck getting us to eat your mahis and.
I will fly both of your asses out here, take you to this restaurant. It's right down the street from my house, and shove the fish tacos in your mouths.
I'll go to Florida. I'll go for a free flight to Florida, Lewis. How about you? You're going, boy. Yeah. Cool. Oh, Carly, send us the money, and we'll be there. But anyway, so today's episode is one Today's episode is one I wrote a while ago, but I've been wanting to cover it for a long time and just waiting for the correct moment. And to be honest, there's no correct moment to cover an episode. If you're right, just do it. Don't be scared, James. So I was just psyching myself up. Today, we're going down south, lady and gentlemen. Down south. And by down south, I mean not South America, South United States. I mean South England. We're heading to the capital of England, Londinium, London, the Big Smoke. All those titles.
The Big Smoke. Is that really a title?
That's one term. That's one term for London. Yeah.
Why?
Because of the pollution, obviously.
Well, that makes sense.
It's a very nice nickname.
It was very lovely, Yeah.
Come and die from all the pollution. Hey. All right, mate. Get in a taxi. I'll guess you. So we're heading particularly to the West End, an area known as Mayfair. Now, a quick little info blast for what Mayfair is all about. I don't live there, obviously, because that would require some serious coinage, which I do not have, but it is a highly affluent area filled with upscale Georgian townhouses and designer shopping stores. It's all very, very fancy. It's a genuinely beautiful part of the city of London, but today we are venturing into one of the hidden hearts of darkness that exists there. Today, we are talking about 50 Berkeley Square. Which doesn't sound as dramatic when I say it, but it is deemed the most haunted house in London. So, You
had me at haunted. Also, it did sound very dramatic, so way to go. Golf claps.
50 Berkeley Square. Dun dun. Well, technically, I should call it the horror of 50 Berkeley Square, but yeah, that's 50 Berkeley Square. So yeah, that's the story, guys. That's it. No actual story. That's the title. That's all you're getting this week. Sorry.
I need to know about the ghosts, please and thank you.
I'm going to sit back here and let you figure it out for me. There we go. Oh. Here we go. Okay, so let's dive straight in. So like a lot of cities that have existed for centuries, there are thousands of grim and unexplainable tales that still reside in the dark corners of the world. But this isn't just a case of spooky ghosts to go bump and the living running away. This place actually claimed lives in its hauntings.
Murderous ghosts. I'm in.
Yeah, I know.
My two favorite things, murder and haunting.
Right. Are you sure you want to run with that, Carly?
I 100% do. I do not take it back. I'm not going to commit murders. I'm just saying. If you want to tell me.
I'd like to forward this part of the conversation to our HR department that exists. It's hr@marvelsmysteriesmidlanders.com. They'll sort you out because I cannot handle another court meeting. I can't do it. So, 50 Berkeley Square is a 4-story townhouse which was built in 1740 by architect William Kent, located in the West End of London, as I already said. The buildings and sculptures that can be found around the square were designed by such prominent figures as Alexander Monroe and Robert Adam. The square has been home to a number of famous people, including Sir Winston Churchill and other famous people. Yeah, I know. You're interested now, yeah? Good. Anyway, let's get into the ghosts.
I would have liked another famous person, I must admit.
Who else lived there? We need to know these details. Winston Churchill, get out of here. Not famous enough.
Yeah, he's fairly famous, Carly. Maybe not in the United States of America, but he's fairly.
I know who he is.
All right, go on then. Go on and prove it. I want your. Tell me who Winston Churchill is.
Tell me who else lived there.
I asked you first. Come on.
I see you Googling. I see you.
I'm not doing that. It's not me at all. It was also home to the founder of Selfridge's department store, Harry Gordon Selfridge.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Carly, how'd you like that? Suck on that.
I do like that. Thank you.
It was also you had Horace Walpole, who we mentioned in our previous episode, the Cock Lane saga. So,
It's my favorite.
Yeah, bringing it back, yeah. It always comes back to Cock Lane, no matter how far we run away from it. It always comes back. So, the first real ghost sightings in Berkeley Square, 50 Berkeley Square, was of a young woman, seen to be hanging from the windowsill on the uppermost floor. She was seen screaming before letting go and disappearing as she fell.
Okay. So outside haunting.
Yeah, this was outside haunting. This isn't an innie and an outie.
But that'd be kind of scary if you're just walking around being like, there's a woman hanging and falling from the building.
Oh, look, she's going to fall, Reg. Don't worry about it, I see this every night. She's going to fall, yeah? She's going to disappear before she hits the ground. There you go. All right, that's true. I didn't realise that. There you go, that's exactly how it went. Now, imagine those two voices as men in your head. So, imagine they look at me and Lewis. There you go.
Yeah.
Which voice do you want, Lewis?
The last guy.
Okay. Yeah, right. I'm Lewis Carr, mate. I'm from Mayfair. How you doing? What are you going to say, Carly? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no. I was going to ask how many police reports they've had about strange women falling before they started ignoring them.
In my flat or in Mayfair? Don't ask about how many women fall from my balcony.
I was going to say, who's the murderer now, James?
I didn't say they died. I'm an illicit affair haver, okay? A prolific affair haver. No, I'm not really. Just want to put that in there. I am not really. An adulterer. I'm not an adulterer, okay? Anyway, so... Deary me. So... It turns out this ghost was identified to be known as a young girl named Adeline, or Adeline, however you pronounce it, who threw herself out of the same window in order to get away from her abusive uncle. Ugh. Now, the type of abuse varies, but in all respects it was quite cruel. Her death and subsequent haunting was reported to have happened in around 1789. And older newspapers report that since then, more than 50 respectable people have reported seeing Adeline, clinging to the windowsill, about to drop to her doom.
Well, that's sad. Was she wearing a white nightgown? Probably. Just to add to the spook factor.
Why is a nightgown spooky? Wait, is this you trying to get back to my hauntings? Don't bring up the ghost in my bedroom! No, she wasn't wearing a nightgown, to be fair. Well, was she? I'm too tired to remember my past traumatic hauntings. No, it's fine. It was a dress. It's fine. No, I don't know. It doesn't say that she was wearing a nightgown, but she could have been, Carly.
She could have been.
If that's what pleases you, if that's what you want for the narrative, then go ahead.
There we go. It's done now. It's done.
She's done. In a nightgown. It's fine. She's in a nightgown. Nothing else. Yes, Lewis.
What's a respectable person?
That's a good point. Mate, well, I'll tell you who two of them were, Lewis. Oh, mate, how you doing? Mate, look, he's going to drop down in a second. That's two, so, Okay. Anybody like that and above in the social standing. Yeah. I don't know, anybody lower. Get him out of here. He's not respectable at all. Got like an eye hanging out. Just pointing. Get him out of here. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, respectable Lewis will go with anyone who can speak without just gargling.
A well-to-do man about town.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, but you know how they wrote their books back then. Everything sounded a lot fancier than it actually was.
Respectable.
Yeah, they're all very respectable, of course. So, Adeline's ghost is not just limited to living the last moments of her life, jumping again and again and again and again out of the window, but also she was allegedly moving furniture and making knocks and rapping in the uppermost rooms of 50 Berkeley Square. Classic ghost stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, and she also had the small ability of being able to literally scare people to death.
Well, look at her go. We all have our gifts.
But it was rumored to, rumored to be able to scare someone to death.
But if people died, then maybe it was her. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh. Well, believe me, this tale goes from just simple ghost haunting to it gets a bit wackier. This is just laying the groundwork for what comes next, because this is I can describe it, but if I describe it now as a word, it'll give away what's to come. So I'm just going to keep going.
Okay.
However, there have also been reports of another young girl ghost in 50 Berkeley Square. There hasn't been as much information provided on this particular ghost, but it's highly assumed she was murdered by her nanny. Aside from the apparitions and poltergeist activity, there was also strange smells that would emanate through the house. One nose witness described it as a musty, cabbagey smell. And of course, all of this activity will be important later as well. But it was all coming from the top floor of the house. All this activity was mainly focused on the top floor, in and outside of the house.
Okay.
Musty, top floor.
Top floor only.
Top floor.
No
musty,
ghosts are
cabbagey
allowed
smell.
on the second floor.
No.
It's the house rules. It's written into the contract.
No dead below the top floor, thank you. If you want to leave, take the window. I mean, when people describe like smelling like ghosts, it's usually like perfume, isn't it? Or roses or flowers or lavender. Not cabbagey
cigarettes
smell.
A lot too. Cabbage.
Cigarettes, yeah.
That's a unique one. That's a unique one. The cabbage ghost.
Oh my, ghost stinks. Oh God. Just his ghost, mate. It's just he died just surrounded by cabbages. A guy got locked in the top of the house. Yeah, that's what happened. Guy died surrounded by cabbage. That's what happened, and that's why they smell it. It's gotta be it. It's this easy to make a ghost story, and I'm putting it there now. Guy died in 50 Berkeley Square, surrounded by cabbage. I don't know how he died. He didn't starve.
So much cabbage. Well, he clearly ate so much cabbage that his body just shut down. Refused to process.
He died. Imagine the gas. That's what they smell. Mm-hmm. The musty cabbagey smell is Whoa, Jesus Christ. Don't go upstairs. What, is it haunted? Yeah, it's haunted, mate. Yeah. Yeah, proper haunted, mate. Yeah, don't go up there. Jesus Christ. So, the first resident who lived in the house for 11 years since Adeline's death was British Prime Minister George Canning, who purchased the house in 1800 and lived there until his death in 1827. Though Canning was no particular of what is scientifically known as a full-on haunting, he did note in his diary that he heard many loud bangs and unexplained noises. So he lived there, heard a few things, got on with it. Yeah.
How long did he live there? 50 years?
Fine.
27 years.
Okay.
Yeah. That's an average sleeping cycle for Pennywise. So, yeah. It's not about Pennywise the Clown. He's a fictional character, guys. Come on. Yeah.
You would know that fact, though.
Listen, I went through a big it phase about 4 years. When the first film came out, I was mad on it. I was mad on it, guys. Mad on it. And then, like most things, the interest fades away. Yeah. Fleeting interest.
But the knowledge stays.
Very pensive this evening. Yeah, the knowledge is still there. The life cycle of Pennywise. Sorry, the sleep cycle of Pennywise is still there. Every 27 years. Oh. But anyway, so following old boy Canning's death at the house, the property was then leased to Elizabeth Curzon, who lived in the building until she died at the age of 90 in 1859. However, while she lived there, odd rumors began to appear about one of her lodgers, Thomas Myers. So obviously, when she lived there, she didn't use it as just her own personal house. She got in the extra money,
moolah,
the extra wonga. She did all that. So she had lodgers on all floors of the house. So Thomas Myers Myers was the son of an MP, or Member of Parliament, for our non-UK listeners. That's for you, Carly.
I did not know what that was.
Yeah, no, yeah. When I was younger, I used to think it meant military police, and I was like, very young, like child young, not, now. I swear. Hey, let's keep moving, guys. Yeah. So, Member of Parliament. So Myers moved into the square with his fiancée. Now, things seemed to be going okay in the house for Tom until his fiancée left him. So some versions of the story say he was jilted at the altar, and others say she just upped and left him. Either way, pretty devastating if he truly was in love with her.
Aww.
Getting jilted at the altar sounds just awful.
Tears.
Yeah, just...
That would suck. You've already got the dress. You've paid for everything. I mean...
Hey. He got jilted.
Okay.
He's not wearing the dress.
He got his suit.
I like how you go for that the woman's getting jilted in this particular story. Listen, both genders are capable of bad things, Carly.
It's true. And I will say that over there, you guys dress much nicer than we do for weddings.
Thank
I've seen
you.
pictures.
Yeah.
All look
you
lovely.
You guys just wear shorts. It's all right, though. The tweed shorts. Look good. So, yeah. Yeah, but it is hot in Florida, man. Like,
yeah, well, I'm not from Florida, to be fair. But
you're from Texas, which is also hot.
It is hot in Texas, too. It does get cold there, but I have people that I know in real life have gotten married in camo clothing. So,
In what? What clothing? Caramel clothing.
Camo.
Oh, camo.
Camouflage.
What?
Camouflage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what camo is. I misheard you.
You never know. Maybe you guys have a different word for it over there. I don't know.
So could you see the wedding then? Or were they really well camo? Just a pair of floating heads. They have ghillie suits on.
Well, I'll tell you. They got married in a barn, and they had hay bales for people to sit on. And the bride wore cowgirl boots underneath her dress.
Oh,
so,
my God.
Super fucking fancy.
Did they go, yay-haw, when they got married?
I wasn't there. I just saw pictures, and I was like, all right, you do you.
I promise to live with you as long as I'm the only thing you ride for the rest of your life. I got the boots on to show it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Cool. I need to go to the American wedding. Any listeners who are in America and getting married, invite me and Lewis. Invite us all to the wedding. We'd love to see it. We wouldn't mock it at all. It's a very, very precious day. So, back to Myers. So he got jilted, left alone by his partner, his fiancée, who he loved dearly, probably. Now, this began a spiral of anguish for Myers, who became a recluse, never setting foot out of number 50, Berkeley Square, aside to let in his servant. See, he's even got a servant. Wait, so he's got a servant, but he's still a lodger. Oh, I don't get this story. This is wild. So Myers became a day sleeper, existing only as a creature of the night. When he wasn't sighted shuffling about the inside by candlelight, his dark silhouette could be seen peering out of his windows at passers-by, which, that just creeps me out.
That is a little creepy. Full-on vampire.
Yeah, but it did happen to me where the flat I used to live in. So when in the car park behind it, it also backs into another pair of flats. And the amount of times I'd be coming back at night and there'd be a dude just standing in darkness in the window.
Huh. That's not
just
weird.
Looking out the window, and I was
watching.
Like,
Hello.
and to prove that it wasn't like, I don't know, like a weird cardboard cutout of like a Mark Wahlberg or something in there. I waved once, and he waved back. So maybe it was like Home Alone where he has that fake party. And he's got the Michael Jordan statue. You know what? Tell a lie. I actually, and this is awfully convenient, but today I went past it again and seen him, and he was in his window with a pair of binoculars. So I was like, this guy is an ultimate voyeur. I like his style. Mad respect for the voyeur, you know? Mad respect for him. So, yeah, that's a little tale. There was some interesting people who I lived around at those flats. Yeah. But yeah, so you've got the man in the dark with his binoculars. I bet he's seen all sorts of things.
He has a notebook. He keeps notes. So be careful. He probably has a whole notebook just about you. He's back. Yeah. He's waved to me. October 22nd, James waved.
The man with the goofy legs keeps looking at me. I'll have to keep an eye on this one. So during this time, the house began to fall into a state of disrepair. And Thomas, obviously, being fairly well off but not giving a good goddamn, didn't really feel the need to help out at all.
Clearly.
And obviously, Thomas wasn't helping the haunted reputation with all these shouting and strange noises he made all through the night. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. He wasn't just shuffling about. He was also going...
He's just crying. He's heartbroken. Yeah. He can't.
I know, yeah.
He's
British people don't like emotions. We're very repressed people. I'm joking, I'm not. But okay.
Are you?
Southerners are. I don't mean that.
Sick burn.
No. Yeah, so obviously, yeah, maybe he was just doing like a Dwight Schrute.
We're forgetting Sarah Marshall, where he just has the huge cereal bowl and he's sitting there crying and eating the cereal.
I haven't seen that, but that does sound like a fairly... Oh, here we go.
You haven't?
Here we go. No.
Well, now that's
Lewis,
2
have you seen it? Please, Lewis. Oh, no, I've not seen 2 movies you've seen. Jesus Christ.
Seen it.
Somebody tell the village elders.
Lewis has seen it and you haven't.
Oh, no. How have I lived this long by not watching
that is
Forgetting
a hilarious
Sarah
movie.
Marshall?
First of all, I can't believe we haven't discussed this yet. There's puppets in there. I mean, what else could you want? Yeah. That is
my number one
there is
attraction to watching the film. There's puppets in it, mate. Oh, I'm there, mate. Yeah.
And the ending has the best puppet musical I've ever seen in my entire life. Ever.
How does that work its way into the narrative? Is it important?
It's important. He's writing a musical about Dracula, and it's with puppets. Listen, I'm not selling it, but just trust me, that is funny.
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah, you're gonna watch it. I'm great at describing things. Okay.
Really, really funny film.
I'm super great at.
No, I can't judge it until I've watched it. So but yeah, it's one of those films I've never got around to watching at all. Just never ever got around to watching it. Anyway, so obviously Myers was spiraling into his madness, his grief-strickenness, his lost love. And one rumor that began to circulate was that he started to study the occult in the basement of 50 Berkeley Square, committing fiendish acts against nature and God in order to win back his fiancée.
Weird sex stuff. That's what I read from that.
Hey, he's not going to be banging anyone but his fiancée, who he loves dearly, Carly.
No, weird sex stuff. He can do that by himself. I'm not.
No, it's just like masturbation sigils and stuff. Yeah. You laugh, but masturbation sigils is a thing.
It is a thing. I know.
You've done sex magic, mate, so you definitely know about it.
I read about it. I spoke about it. I've been there.
Yeah. Lewis, you look like you're a man of good taste. You ever done a masturbation sigil? Is that one on your wall behind you?
I don't know what one is.
That's exactly what someone who does masturbation sigils was saying. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not explicitly stated it was sex stuff, but hey, he's lonely, You're in a basement studying all this stuff. You're like, crack one out. Who's going to stop me? My wife ain't here, is she?
See? That's right. It's the sad.
Oh, it's just...
I love you so much.
Yeah. It's just lots of sad wanking in the basement. We've all been there, Mr. Myers. We've all been there. Yeah. So, again... There was apparently tales of literal madness happening in this particular basement. That wasn't the only one. Now, another lodger by the name of Mr. Dupree resided in number 50 Berkeley Square for a time, and whilst he was there, he had a brother who was deemed insane and was kept confined in the basement of Berkeley Square, being fed via a food chute in the door until his untimely death.
Well, that doesn't sound sad at all. Food shoots.
Do you think that? But I know. Do you think both stories are true? So you got in the corner Thomas, jerking off, reading occult books. in the other corner, there's this guy going, hey, getting food fed to him through his chute.
Yeah.
And Thomas is like, don't look at me.
Ashamed. Yeah.
I can't.
100%.
I can't go if you watch.
There's probably a curtain just dividing the room,
We decided to sublet the basement.
He's scolding his brother. Could you keep it down over there? I'm in the middle of some very important weird sex stuff.
It's therapy. Yeah. So again, this insane person who died was also a ghost, apparently, at Berkeley Square, once again adding to the growing roster of spirits who walked the hallways and the balconies outside of the building. Now, in 1874, Myers, after residing at the top of the house for the rest of his days, died at the age of 76 years old, potentially joining the ghost squad that had been slowly building over this time. Ghost Squad. Ghost Squad.
Immediately they need capes and helmets. Just
Ghost
Squad.
Investigating London's most heinous hauntings. Introducing the Ghost Squad. Thomas Myers. Where's Helen? Insane basement dweller. Oh, and that other woman. What's her name? I'm going to fall off a balcony tonight. Ghost Squad.
Ghost Squad. Charlie's
Squad.
Angel style.
Yeah. But you love them for their flaws. So during all of this time, through all the hauntings and, personal tragedies and just general day-to-day life, something far more sinister was existing in the dark corners of 50 Berkeley Square. So we're going to go back in time a bit more now. So obviously we're at 1874 at the moment. We're going to travel back to 1840 and follow the footsteps of Sir Robert Warboys, a 20-year-old student. Warboys is a great name, by the way. All right, mate, I'm Warboys. I mean, if it was War Boy would be better, obviously, but, that could be the Ghost Squad's nemesis team, the War Boys.
Hashtag War Boys.
Watch out! Hashtag War Boys is coming. So War Boys was a dandy, yes, and a notorious rake as well, which is short for rake hell, also meaning hellraiser, and not the pinhead kind.
He was the fuckboy of the day.
He was. He was a man who was habituated to immoral conduct, particularly womanizing.
Shame, shame, shame.
You may sleep with these ladies, but are you ever truly happy?
War Boys, get your life together. There's a perfectly likable, respectable woman. Likable. She's
likable.
That's the way you want to be described. Perfectly likable.
So what do you love about your wife? Well, she's likable.
She's likable. She has a great personality. Likable. Yeah.
Carly is my greatest compliment to you. Oh, Carly, you're so likable. Your likability's infectious.
My likability. I will wear that. I'm going to make a shirt that says
infectious likability.
Perfectly likable.
You couldn't wear that on your chest as a woman, though, because you'd be like, what are those? Yeah, I think breasts are perfectly likable. Let's see. Yeah. So, Robert Warboys, or we'll call him now, Poor Boys. Yeah, what a burn. God's sake, I'm sorry, that was bad.
That was great. Leave it.
He was also the prodigal son of a family, and he wasted his inherited fortune on gambling, wine, women, and song, and incurring lavish debts in the process. Now, whilst in a Holborn tavern, another borough of London, he heard rumour of a massively haunted house in Mayfair and dismissed it as an adulterated poppycock. So Warboy's friends thought otherwise and dared him to spend a night in the haunted room on the second floor at the top of the house. Now, this haunted room was allegedly where a lot of the activity we spoke about took place. Obviously, Warboys accepted the offer, presumably made an absolute dick of himself, and then ventured out the pub towards Mayfair. So far, what are your thoughts, obviously? because we haven't even got to the true horror of Berkeley Square yet, but I want to know how you guys are feeling about it.
Well, I'm hoping that the fuckboy is going to get the shit haunted out of him. I'm enjoying this very much. I like all these collection of ghosts that are here.
Supernatural vengeance.
He sounds like he deserves a good haunting, if I'm being perfectly honest. So,
you know, mate, you deserve a good haunting, you do.
So, how is he going to get access to the house? Is he going to break in, or does some...
Well, at this point, Lewis, it wasn't abandoned. It found to disrepair, but it was still being used as a lodging house.
Right, okay. So like a hotel kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. It was like a very loose, people going in and out, getting rooms. But then there's a later story coming up where it was abandoned.
Right.
But at this point, I'd say it was all but abandoned, to be honest. He probably walked straight in. An old woman was like, in from the corner, and then and he was like, I'll take the room upstairs. so he got there in the same night to arrange an all-night vigil with the landlord. So there we go. Sorry, there was a landlord there. The landlord, knowing the true nature of the house, tried to talk Robert out of the dare, but he refused to listen. I mean, why would he? He's the rake, baby. Eventually, the landlord gave in and put him up for a night in the haunted room under two very particular conditions. Can you guess what they are? I'd like to hear what you think they are.
Number one, weird sex stuff must be included.
Of course.
Obviously.
I want 10 masturbation sigils in that room by daybreak, mate, all right?
I don't know. Those are... must pay in advance. That's my...
Yeah, I'll go with that. Mr. Carter, any guesses?
Checkouts at 10.
No, I can't even laugh. It's true. It's so true. Check-ins at 5 p.m.
Leave towels you want washing on the floor.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, the two conditions actually were, the first one was that if he was to see anything that he considered unearthly, he was to pull a cord next to the bed, which would ring a bell in the landlord's quarters.
Seriously?
Oh, that's what I meant to say. That.
Oh, it's the unearthly bell.
Excuse me, pretty sure there's a fucking ghost in the corner, so, hi, attention.
Oh, look, it's my glowing white whore. Come to me. This isn't unearthly at all. Wait, my hand's going through. Okay, I'll ring the bell. Yes. So that was the first one.
Okay.
The second condition was that Warboys was to be armed with a pistol throughout the entire time he was inside the room.
Shut up, seriously?
Yeah.
Notoriously effective against ghosts.
So effective against ghosts.
It was actually a holy water pistol.
But also, with that setup, what if like a real person walked in there and he's like, oh, a ghost, shoots him, rings the bell. It's a real super fucking dead human now, just blood everywhere.
You just
there
killed
are flaws.
The maid. You shot Agatha.
She was just bringing you, what is it? What's the...
You ordered room service.
services.
Turn-in services?
Yeah, where they come in and they put the little chocolate on your pillow.
Is that like room service?
I mean, I'm not fancy enough to have actually done it, so I don't know. Okay. Just told you I've seen pictures of a camo wedding. It's clearly not me.
Okay, I'll give you that. Can you imagine like special requirements? Could I have some chocolates put on my pillow?
Chocolates on the pillow. They'll pull the bedspread down for you, just getting it all nice and ready.
Get into it for you. Warm it up before you get there. You know, it best be warm with genuine human body heat. I'm not getting in it. Yeah. So those are the two conditions. Now, obviously, Warboys thought this was absolutely absurd. But he did decide to agree to it anyway. After all, it was a dare. And Warboys don't step down for anybody. No. So he entered the room as the night struck midnight, probably. That
Obviously.
Was just a fancy little story, little garnish there for you. And he sat at a candlelit table awaiting these horrors to make an appearance. Now, after around 45 minutes, the landlord was startled awake by the violent jangling of the bell and one solitary gunshot. He raced upstairs to the very top of the house to check on Warboys and burst into the room in a very dramatic fashion, presumably, only to find him.
boys!
Yeah. War boys! And in the corner of the room, War Boys was slumped dead, the gun still smoking in his hand.
Ah.
His face was pale white, with his eyes bulging out of their sockets and his lips curled, showing his tightly gripped teeth. The landlord followed the dead man's gaze to the bullet hole in the wall. Whatever the thing was, War Boys fired at it, for it to only miss or go straight through it.
Dun dun dun. He was scared to death. Literally.
He was actually, yeah. He got scared because he accidentally shot the gun and went, yeah, had a unique cardiac event, and that was it. I'm starting to sound like you, Lewis. I'm being all logical about it. I don't like this. This way you're like, no, it was a ghost, actually. That's like, oh, sorry. So, yeah, Robert Warboys is dead.
Super dead, shot at the wall.
Joined the...
Face frozen in fear for all of eternity.
Yeah, exactly. War Boys has defected from the War Boys and has now joined the Ghost Squad. Loser!
Sup, guys? It's War Boys. Get ready to party.
Hello. Let's turn this Ghost Squad into a ghost mob. Yeah. So, with War Boys' passing, more than 30 years would pass before anybody else would stay in that remote, foreboding room with this particular entity. Introducing our next guest, Lord George Littleton, aristocrat, politician, and a fan of the double-barrel shotgun.
Obviously. Similar
to how Robert Warboys ended up in this unfortunate position, Littleton had also heard about Berkeley Square and was challenged by his friends to a little visit. Now, apparently Littleton was actually massively into the paranormal anyway, and wanted to prove its existence by going to Berkeley Square itself. The difference this time is that George brought his shotgun.
Mm-hmm. Of course he did. He doesn't leave home without it, okay?
Yeah, just imagine him pulling up to open the door and he's like, "You're right. Can I have a room? Please." Yeah.
Pretty please.
So George also settled down for the night and actually fell asleep. A few hours went by until he was awoken by a loud noise in his room. Being smart, he grabbed his shotgun and prepared to tangle with the horror of the room. Tracing the room for where the sound came from, he tracked it to a darkened corner, the very same corner where War Boys fired his gun.
Ooh.
As he drew his double-barrel shotgun closer, his gun raised. The sound ceased, and moments later, something leapt out of the shadows towards him.
Nice.
What Littleton could see in the darkness was a sludgy brown mass covered in tentacles. Dodging the creature's initial leap, he found his footing, fired, and as he reloaded, he realized this thing was completely gone. All that remained was more bullet holes in the wall, and this time some sludgy residue from where the creature came from. What the hell is going on?
I don't know, but it sounds gross. Also very messy.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Brown sludge? No.
Cabbagey.
That musty cabbagey smell.
That's where the cabbage comes from.
Cracked it.
Nailed it. Way to go, Lewis. Gold star.
Jesus Christ, it stinks in it. Imagine the landlord being like, "Listen, I know I give you a gun in here, but please stop shooting the bloody wall." So yeah, there was some strange brown mass covered in tentacles in the corner of the room. It's not your bog standard ghost, really, is it? That's something else entirely. So a few years later now, back to 1879, a man moved into Berkeley Square with his two teenage daughters, the eldest of which immediately complained of a strange, musty, cabbagey smell. But she also compared it as well, that it was like the smell of an animal's cage at the zoo. But this is 1879, so I don't know what an animal's cage at the zoo smelled like back then.
Probably smelled pretty bad.
Just like ass and cabbage.
Do you guys have ass and cabbage? Do you guys have like roadside zoo attractions over there? I've been in several.
Not really.
No.
Okay, well,
We like to keep our animals in more, domesticated, safe environments.
yeah, those are always nice. I've been to a couple. They smell awful. Awful. There's one here, but they did let me hold an alligator. and an albino skunk. So worth it. It smells really bad.
Very eclectic group. You know, saying that though, we did go to a place called Lucky Tail's Alpaca Farm, which isn't like it's not a roadside, but it's on the side of a road and a farm. So I guess it's on the side of it. Anyway, but yeah, it smelled bad in there as well. Alpacas stink.
It smells real bad.
It wasn't just them though. There was pigs there.
Between that and cabbages?
Meerkats. Yeah, it was
just a hard pass. The meerkats. I remember.
Meerkats, so cute. So cute. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They all had Russian names as well, which is probably quite, if we don't talk about those right now.
They're probably going to have to change all of their meerkats' name now. I hope they don't recognize that.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, Vladimir, you can't. No more fruit for you.
You've had enough, Vladimir. So a few years later, now we're in 1879, so again, the girls were like, it stinks in here, Daddy. So later, the elder daughter's fiancé, Captain Kentfield, was due to visit the house, and a maidservant was asked to prepare his room. So no sooner had she gone upstairs to that particular bullet-ridden room. Well, I'm assuming at this point, probably, sorted out by then. So the maid went up to the room, and the family heard a terrified scream coming from the room. Rushing to assist, they found her collapsed on the floor, staring at the same corner, muttering to herself, "Don't let it touch me. Don't let it touch me." They were unable to ascertain exactly what it was that had happened to this lady, but it was too late. The poor maid was sent to the hospital. Others say a sanatorium. Either way, she died that same day.
Oh dear.
What did she die of?
Fear, fright.
Obviously.
Nerves. A nerve attack.
She had a fit of nerves that led to her death. Her collapse and eventual death. Huh.
Yeah. She was just too nervous for this world.
I don't know how I feel about the brown sludgy thing, but big fan of so many people dying of fear. Excellent story.
Those poor people. At least one American's getting entertainment from all these poor deaths.
Well,
poor people.
That's how I live my life.
Know? The higher the body count, the better the story. Woo! So unfortunately this died, but obviously despite this loss, Captain Kentfield was like, I'm going to stay in that room tonight because something ain't right, because so far, as we've learned, definitely a good idea. And just like before, middle of the night, there were sounds of screaming and gunshots, and then when they went in there, Kentfield was found face down in the room. Apparently he committed suicide, though marks on his head had said otherwise.
Huh. So the brown sludgy thing can also attack. He fights back. He has claws. And sludge.
Maybe he did maybe he got so scared he got a nerve attack. And then he went to shoot himself, and the creature jumped on him at the same time, and he shot himself as the creature hit him. Some sort of double suicide, non-suicide, like a suicide, non-suicide, tentacle attack, self-inflicted gun wound. Figured it out.
Wow.
Cracked it.
CSI 1879.
Gold star for you.
I am the solver of crimes. Now, so we are coming to the last known appearance that we know of this Lovecraftian kind of entity that exists in 50 Berkeley Square, or did exist anyway. The year is 1887, and the HMS Penelope has arrived in Portsmouth for some maintenance. I've just got, my cat just...
I was going to say, I felt that as your hand.
Tabby just dived into my face.
She's super into this story. She needs you to know. She will protect you.
Yeah, protect me by ass slamming me in the face. So the HMS Penelope had arrived in Portsmouth for some maintenance just in time for Christmas Eve. Now, amongst its crew was Edward Blunden and Robert Martin, who, on their leave, headed to London for some festive fun. Now, whilst having a rowdy night out on the town, getting plastered, razzed, smashed, or absolutely wankered, the sailor boys had spent most of their cash money on the party, and not on lodgings for the night.
Obviously.
You okay, Lewis?
I like that paragraph.
Me too.
It's good to see I had some writing finesse still back in the early days. Eh? Plastered, raz, smashed, or absolutely wanking. You can only be one of them. So yeah, the party boys spent all their money on the party. They had nowhere to go for lodgings. So they did what anybody would do. They stumbled about the streets of London looking for houses that had a to let sign outside of it or on them. Knowing nobody would be home, they could break in, squat peacefully for the night, and just, be gone by morning. Unfortunately, the best place they could find that evening was the abandoned 50 Berkeley Square.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, not great. So as these drunken sailors made their way through the house, they realized that the first 2 floors were far too damp and filled with mold to rest comfortably in.
Yeah.
So they made their way to the top of the house.
If there's that much mold, the top isn't safe either.
I know, yeah. Unknowingly, they chose to stay in the room where all the action had taken place so far.
Obviously.
Because why the hell not? As they got settled into the room, Blunden began to feel a little bit perturbed all of a sudden, a nervous pinch at the base of his neck, and a growing feeling that they were not alone. But Robert was like, he waved it off and said that, it's just an effect of being back on land after being at sea for so long. And soon enough, he fell asleep. Yeah, it sounds like a good excuse. You've just been on the ocean too long, mate. Shut up and go to sleep. Yeah. I'm going to start using that now when people come back from holidays, Lewis. Oh, you've been on a plane too long, mate. It's all right. It'll be okay. Yeah, so one of them fell asleep. The other one was a bit disturbed. And now eventually he also fell asleep. And after about an hour of resting, the bedroom door was blasted open and a larger version of the brown tentacled mass was seeping into the room around the hinges of the door. So obviously startled by this sound, Robert woke up, but he was unable to move, paralyzed with fear. And as Blunden tried to get to his feet, the entity seized him by the throat and wrapped its cold, writhing tentacles around his face. Robert finally broke out of his paralyzed state, picked up a nearby piece of debris, and dashed the creature. The entity was briefly stunned, but did not release its grip. And before he could make any further blows, it turned to Robert himself, flourishing its true form from beneath its sludgy mass, causing him to abandon his friend and flee from the house. Some friend. So this thing is...
Is it like a ghillie suit? What is this?
What's its true form?
Yeah.
A naked man.
Yeah. Oh. These gay thoughts are too much for me. I must leave. Sorry. Yeah.
No.
I think it was more like, in horror films where something opens its mask or face and then they go, and they get terrified, but just assume there's something inside this creature that is just too horrifying to even comprehend. Just the deadlight, so to speak. Once again from the Stephen King novel It, which I've mentioned already this episode. Hey. So yeah, his mate was getting suffocated by his tentacles. He hit him, Robert did, and then the creature was like, "You like what you see, big boy?" And then he ran away, leaving his friend to, the creature's embrace. As he was running out of the house, he could hear his friend screaming in terror. And as he crossed the square, he could still hear him screaming in terror. And eventually he found a policeman on duty. Now, obviously, he was in a hysterical state and he led the officer to the house. And now there's 2 interpretations of what happens next. As the first one being, as the 2 of them approached the house, they found Blunden's body impaled on the railing fence outside of the house, being thrown out of the window by the tentacled beast. Now, obviously, the body had this very, nightmarish look of horror on its face, like that, like he'd been killed by Samara from The Ring. That face, that.
I was going back to Indiana Jones,
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, that as well, yeah. Many good interpretations, obviously. But yeah, so his mate was thrown out the window, impaled on the fence, and looked absolutely terrified. What a shame. The second interpretation was that the duo returned to the house and could find no sign of the creature or of his shipmate. Eventually, they ventured into the basement and finally came across the body of Edward Blunden. His neck had been broken and twisted, leaving that same facial expression that the other victims had. Pure terror. Robert was arrested for the alleged murder of his friend, but due to lack of evidence, he was released.
Huh? Well.
Yeah. I know.
Is this house still standing?
Yes. Now, unfortunately, we may never know what this Lovecraftian Eldritch horror was or is. It could still be lurking in the upstairs of the house, but let us hope it never has the chance to hurt another human soul, unless we get it on camera, in which case, yeah, score. Since the death of Robert Martin, only an elderly couple and a antique book dealer have inhabited the sinister house at 50 Berkeley Square. Huh. Yeah, with the closing of Maggs Brothers book dealers in 2015, who themselves didn't use the upper floors of the building, the legend still lives on. Now, the stories have obviously returned about 50 Berkeley Square, of objects being tossed about, a shapeless brown mist that reaches from the shadows, and to this day, a police notice stands on the walls inside the townhouse that proclaims that the upper floors cannot be used for any purpose, and may all who see it heed its warning.
I like this. I would like to email whoever owns this house and say, hi, hello, please let me inside your house. I just want to see. I just want to see. I have questions.
Octopuses in there?
I'd like to wander around. Probably if that brown tentacle thing came out, we could be friends. I don't know. Very charming.
Can I have a gun?
Can I have a gun? Guns clearly
bang, bang, bang,
not
bang.
effective.
Yeah. I mean, what if this thing appeared and wanted to make friends, and then everybody shot at it, and he was like, fine, I'm going to kill this one as well.
This one sucks.
And that's it. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this story. I like it.
Yeah, it's quite I'd say a popular story. It's a fairly well known story.
I've never heard it. I like the police
not,
notice.
Yeah.
That's a cherry on top for me.
Yeah.
Don't go upstairs.
Don't go up there. There's octopuses and stuff, and it's moldy. It's gross.
Octopuses.
Don't get octopus. Brown octopuses.
Land octopuses. Stay away.
Got one of those mythical land octopuses in the attic, mate. You don't want to go up there. He gets a bit rowdy. So yeah, that is the horror of 50 Berkeley Square.
I like it.
What's your parting thoughts on the whole story? So obviously, it's more, rather than one big narrative, it's kind of a mixture of different experiences. I mean, to be fair, most haunted places are, aren't they? There's usually one big story and then loads of mini stories that surround it. So, yeah.
I like all the different stories, first of all.
Good.
I don't know. I almost wish that it was a ghost and not the brown blob, because have you ever read or seen The Black Cauldron? It's a Disney movie. It's a terrible Disney movie, but it's based off of a great book series. And there's a creature in there called Gimli, and it's a little brown, furry.
He's a dwarf from Lord of the
Gimli.
Rings.
Gurgi. I was close.
Gurgi.
And it's like a little brown thing, and he's always like really filthy. He's got like twigs, and all I can see in my mind is that. So it's kind of like, well, that's not scary. That's adorable. But add tentacles.
I'm looking this up because
Gurgi. It's called The Chronicles of Predain. It's an excellent book series. Fairly sure it's based. It's just a little
dog. That looks nothing like it.
Well, I'm just saying, that's the parallel my mind made. I can't see it. Oh, no, that's stupid. No, that's the worst. I reject that movie deeply. Yeah. I just was using it in case you'd seen that. The book is great. Okay. The book is great, but the movie was terrible.
There's a more scary-looking version of him there. Is that better?
See, look at how cute he is. Yes, that's much better. See? Right. But you said brown... Well, there's no tentacles on Gurgi.
You and me have very different definitions of the term cute, Carly.
It's very cute. Look at him. But yeah, I like this idea. It sounds very like The Ring. You could make an excellent movie out of this. Except the brown tentacles, I'm a little bit stuck on.
I think
where did it come from? Where does it go?
I think it's meant to be a dimensional being, I think. Obviously, as we know, ghosts, they can appear in weird forms, but I mean, unless it's just the ghost of an octopus.
Land octopus.
Maybe it's just the ghost of London's only land octopus who just lives in a house and chokes people and throws them out windows and stuff. Get out!
How dare you bring a gun onto this premises?
Yeah, exactly. Be gone! You are banished!
I will toss you out where you deserve.
Or he just really wants a hug and he just keeps choking people.
Listen, he can't help. He doesn't know his own strength. His tentacles are... It's not his fault. He just wants to wrap them around your neck, okay?
It's like when Davy Jones kills that guy in Pirates of the Caribbean 3 by just shoving his tentacles all over his face and up his nose. And
that was a good one. I like that.
Quality death.
Quality. Tentacles.
Personal thing on the bucket list. I want to get filled full of tentacles. Woohoo! So that is the horror of 50 Berkeley Square. What do you guys think it is then? I've given my interdimensional being theory. What would you like to go with?
I don't know.
You can't just say it's not real, Lewis. You need to break open your beautiful cranium and give me some of that sweet...
Take off the skeptical spectacles.
Yeah.
No, you go.
The what?
What?
The slimy stuff. I've never heard of anything like that. Or the tentacles.
Ever heard of ectoplasm, my friend? Hey.
not a brown cabbagey smelling one with tentacles.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, I was out of line there, and I appreciate you putting me in my place. Yeah.
And revealing its true self. What could that be?
Oh, exactly.
I want to know that too. That's why. Is it a person in a ghillie suit? There's obviously a trapdoor. It's a house full of inbred tentacle people.
It is very Lovecraftian there.
They opened a trapdoor in there and they snuck out. They disappeared and no one can find them again because the trapdoor obviously has springs, so it just closes after itself.
Sure. I've also quickly Googled what does ectoplasm smell like. And some accounts state that in extreme cases, it develops a strong odor, but sometimes has no smell at all. And we're going to say that strong odor is a musty cabbagey smell. Woo!
Cabbage, you heard
Facts
it first.
Proven. Yeah, exactly. So, there we go. Interdimensional being, inbred octopuses. A strange ghost. It's just a very deformed...
The Ghost Squad.
The Ghost Squad strikes again. Yeah. You know, like how Scooby-Doo, the mystery, I've completely gone blank on what they're called. Mystery Machine. Mystery Incorporated?
Mystery Inc.
Mystery Inc., thank you.
Yep.
I said Incorporated.
You did.
Mystery Incorporated.
You said it very officially.
So they've got, So they've got Scooby-Doo, the Ghost Squad has, the brown octopus.
The brown octopus thing. Land octopus.
Ruh-roh!
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Like, you killed another one octopus! That was
Actually,
very bad.
I will pull this up.
I can't see without my glasses.
Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School.
Okay.
It's a tentacle creature. Yeah, it is. Ha! Look
Does
at me.
it look nothing like the creature again? You know what? That's closer to...
that one was
closer.
closer.
I'll give you that. Yeah, it's closer.
It has leaves. It's green, but that's okay. We can pretend it's brown.
Stop making it less and less accurate. But yeah, that's it, guys. That is the horror of 50 Berkeley Square.
I like that a
glad
lot.
You enjoyed
There's
it.
lots of dead
Glad
people
you
in
did.
that house.
Zing! I love it.
So dead.
I love it. So, what to say? So, thank you for listening to this episode of Marvel's Mysteries and Midlanders. If you want to get into contact with us, you can find our email at marvels.mysteries@gmail.com. And also, our Instagram is at mmmidlanders or at mmmidlanders. Carly, shamelessly self-promote yourself, as you always do.
As I always do. Once again, you can find me at The Village Tarot Witch on Instagram and haunted.housewives.podcast also on Instagram.
The Haunted Housewives
The
podcast.
Haunted Housewives
There we go.
Podcast.
Yeah, fantastic. Lewis, you got anything you'd like to promote?
No. Not that you already haven't.
Oh, well, sorry. If you wanted to do it, you should have said. Can't get anything right, can I? Right. So, yes, thank you, listeners, very much. As always, you are beautiful, and I love you all. And thank you so much for listening to us. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.